Hi everyone, welcome to my video log, which I normally release every Monday in Japanese, but this is the special version. I'm going to talk in English. The reason why is that the other day I wrote a blog about how Japan should help Turkey and why. And Japan should be a white knight for Turkey now in their current currency crisis. And one of my friends read about it and told me that why don't you translate that into English so that rest of the world can read about it. I thought that was a good idea. So instead of translating that blog into English, I thought about why don't I just talk about it in English on this video. So yeah, today I want to talk about this what's happening in Turkey in a real sense. What's really happening essentially, and why Japan should help them. By the way, my name is Tsuneki Onishi. I'm a Japanese politician, but not a professional one because I've never been elected before. Also, I'm a head of a party called Fairness Party, which is basically trying to make the world fair, which is not because of this. Basically whole monetary system. I used to be a foreign exchange trader in JP Morgan, so I know this whole financial system is a huge scam, and it's creating a huge gap between rich and poor, and there's a really fundamental problem in the system, and the Fairness Party is trying to change that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to change how the money is created. Right now, all money basically throughout the world is created as debts. That's really a social problem, and that's why I'm insisting that we should help President Erdogan in Turkey. President Erdogan said it clearly that interest is really the source of the whole problem. He's really stabbing the heart of the problem. He's quite right. Interest is really the source of the whole problem, and why that is a big problem is that all money is basically created as debt. So all money is associated with interest. So to pay back the debt, you're going to need more money because you have to pay extra interest. So you're going to need more money, and if you keep on creating money as debt, you're going to need more and more debts. So more and more debts, more and more interest, and more money, and this whole earth is not gonna be okay with that, because money is just something to it's just an intermediary, something to exchange real things, real values, but real values basically don't really grow like money does. With interest, real values basically they deteriorate. They rot, they break. So quite naturally, no more other things. Real values tend to be less. I mean, it's not gonna grow more and more. On the other hand, if because of this money system, if money keeps growing with interest, which causes a lot of problem because it just doesn't make sense. So you're going to need more economic growth. You have to create more and more things. You have to consume more and more, and you're going to dump all those trash to the water, to the forest, and we're going to just ruin the whole earth because of this whole monetary system. And what President Erdogan said that is that quite right. This interest, basically what he's saying is this whole monetary system is really a source of a problem, and he's putting a fight against that big scam. and that's, you know, the economists or mainstream media is basically accusing him that, you know, what he's saying, President Erdogan try to keep the interest rate low. He says that if interest rate is higher, that's going to accelerate inflation, which is not really quite right, because it's, you know, higher interest means eventually lower money stock, because, you know, if interest rate goes higher, less people are able to borrow money because of the high interest rate, and the money stock is basically created with debt, with, you know, a bunch of debts. So if people are not able to borrow more, you know, the money stock could go down, and eventually that will probably ease the inflation. So, you know, higher interest rate, you know, what President Erdogan says, higher interest rate could boost inflation, is not really probably right by the economic textbook. But what economics textbook doesn't say is that on the course of, you know, with the higher interest rate down to the with a higher interest rate, and money stock goes down, and on the course of all that, what happened is that with a high interest rate, how the money stock can go down is really cruel, because you know, if they raise the interest rate, and less people are able to borrow money because of the high interest rate. So what happened is that people who are not able to pay back their debts, you know, go bankrupt, or people who, you know, need money now, but because of the higher interest rate, they cannot borrow money, so they go bankrupt. So on the course of you know, of the money stock going down, a lot of people who are economically or financially weak are going to suffer a big deal. And then after that, money stock can go down, and inflation can go down, but after that, a whole bunch of people are really suffering after that. So I think President Erdogan knows about it, and then and what he said, that higher interest rate can boost inflation, could not be right, but he's probably right about, you know, what, you know, who he should stand up for, people of the Turkey, and the mainstream media and so-called economists, you know, specialists, accusing him that that would discourage investment in Turkey, and then that would be bad for Turkish economy. But, you know, investors, I mean, why we should be, you know, worried so much about investors? I mean, investors are basically, especially global investors, who don't, you know, who don't care anything about people. They only care about making money, more money out of money. So, you know, they're accusing President Erdogan that, you know, they're investing in Turkey, and their investment, if Turkish lira goes down and the interest rate goes down, their investment is going to lose money. So, you know, that's why they're condemning President Erdogan. But I mean, who cares really? I mean, it's if you know, President Erdogan keep interest rate low in Turkish lira, and then of course Turkish lira could go down, and there will be probably a massive inflation after that, because of his policy. And even if, you know, that happens, inflation in Turkey could boost, could be you know, really higher. That means the value of money goes down, which means real values, and the value of real values like, you know, milk, meat, crops, all kinds of things which you can actually use or eat. Value of those would go up. If value of money goes down, the real value goes up. And then which means those people who create those real values, like farmers or actual workers, their power goes up, because once you stop trusting money is just nothing. It's just a piece of paper or just numbers. And it doesn't mean anything. And if power of those money goes down, that means people's powers go up. So that's why all these rich and wealthy people are condemning President Erdogan, because he's gonna take out the power of those wealthy people. If power of the money goes down, which means taking the power off those people. And they want all central banks throughout the world to work for their favor. This whole money system is designed designed for that. Wealthy people, once they got the money, they will never lose. They just sit on it because of the interest. They can earn more interest on money. But real wealth is not like money. I mean, if you make a lot of crops, if you make too much rice, for instance, that could just that doesn't grow, and that's going to rot, and you cannot really keep your wealth over time. But if you turn that into money, and if you keep interest rate high, you can never lose money. And that's how this whole system is creating so much gap between rich and poor, throughout the world. We should change this. And President Erdogan is basically putting a fight against that whole system. And the reason why I insist that Japan should help them is, number one, because I'm the president of the Fairness Party, and I would like to make the world fair. And this corrupt monetary system is creating a whole problem, and we should change that. And if anyone in the world is putting a fight against that big system, I would like to help. I would like to support. And also, right now, unfortunately, I haven't gained any power here in Japan in political scene, so I cannot do anything. But Japan as a country has a huge power to help them. And if I were a prime minister of Japan, what I would do is to lend Japanese yen to Turkish government for about 10 trillion yen with no interest. We can do that, no problem, because we have now piling up the base money for 400 trillion yen, and 10 trillion loan to the Turkish government with no interest is no problem, because right now Japanese yen doesn't have any interest, and they even put the minus interest. BOJ put minus interest to the excessive base money, and we have 400 trillion yen of more than 400 yen, close to 500 trillion yen of base money. So out of that, 10 trillion yen loan to Turkish government with no interest is no problem, and that will help them because right now the Turkish the biggest weakness of a Turkish economy is that their trade deficit. They have the trade deficit of 40 to 50 billion dollars every year. So they need investors. They need foreign currencies to settle. And if investors pulling out of a Turkish economy, they're going to face a serious shortage of settlement currency, which is usually U.S. dollars. They can't really settle international trade with Turkish lira. Being plunged now. So they need reliable foreign currencies. Japanese yen is the most reliable currency in the world because of our huge current surplus. We have the biggest current surplus of like $3 trillion worth of the biggest current surplus. On the other hand, United States has the biggest shortage, biggest debt in biggest deficit in current balance. They have like $9 to $10 trillion worth of current deficit. That's why current deficits. That's why President Trump is going throughout the world to trying to sell United States product to the world, because they have to do something with this current deficit and trade deficits. They like to sell, they need to sell more to the world and buy less. That's why they're imposing tax on imports. Anyway, so 10 trillion yen loan to the Turkish government will probably cover like 2 years of their deficit, and in 2 years they can probably sort things out, and we can give him some time, and also this would help. This will help us too. If we loan them, if we lend them 10 trillion yen with no interest, that will probably affect our foreign exchange rate, dollar yen rate. That means probably that was probably weaken yen and strengthen US dollar. And if dollar yen goes up, that will probably favor our exporters like Toyota or Honda, or those manufacturers who are exporting products to the world. Lower yen would help them, and that will probably President Trump doesn't like that, and if he doesn't like that, he has a choice. We can show them two choices. One, let the dollar yen go up, or two, instead of let the dollar yen go up, we sell US dollar, and the Japanese government or BOJ sell US bonds, because we have, like I said, we have the biggest trade current surplus of $3 trillion, and most of it is basically invested in the United States, in the US government. And reason why is that we've been still controlled by United States government. Well, I wouldn't say government, because it's not really people's government. It's been like 73 years since World War II, and Japan is still being occupied by US troops, with 30,000 people of US troops, and we don't even have the air control over Tokyo or around that area, and Japan is still occupied for 73 years after the World War II, and we've been really basically brown noser to those military industrial complex, MIC, and it's. Yes, it is a tough decision if we decide to sell US bonds and then buy Turkish lira and buy Turkish assets. But basically, those are two choices. The one, let the US dollar yen exchange rate go up, and two, instead of doing that, we sell U.S. assets. We sell U.S. bonds, and then instead we buy Turkish asset. in Turkey. And either way would probably help us. If we buy a certain amount of Turkish lira and Turkish asset, that would probably better off. That would be better than we be better off than holding U.S. assets, because the United States is the biggest the borrower of money. They have the biggest current deficit to the rest of the world. Japan has the most of the assets. We have like $3 trillion worth of assets to United States. Second is China and Germany and Switzerland and Hong Kong. Those places who are making trade surplus or current surplus is basically lending money to the United States. So the value of United States dollars are really less than what it is now. US dollar yen rate is like 110, 100, but it should be like 50 or 40, 20, 30. I don't know what that is, but the whole world is holding a US dollar long position, and if they decide to dump all those US dollars into foreign exchange market, US dollar is going to plunge very dramatically. So instead of holding the biggest US dollar asset for us, selling some of it and buying Turkish lira and Turkish asset is going to probably help us too. That's going to help Turkish people too. So yes, that's what I've basically written about in a blog. We should be a white knight for Turkey, and in over years, if Turkish economy goes back up, that would probably help us too. But this is not about investment. I mean, this is not about Japan investing in other countries to make money. It's about putting a fight against global investors who have no interest other than to make money. But we like to make the world a better place. We like to make the world more fair place. And for that, someone with the money should fight against it. Someone with the money should fight against the whole system. And the reason why I'm doing this, I set up my own political party called Fairness Party, and trying to gain some power in Japanese political scene, is that if the people like me and people like who really care about the world, not just Japan, gains power here in Japan. We have so much power in terms of that current surplus, and we can use that current surplus to be a white knight to the world, because the world is really divided, and the world has a huge gap between rich countries and poor countries, and right now, as this financial colonialism is really ripping off the real poor people, and always like a billion people are starving to death all the time. So we should, someone should stand up for that, and a country like Japan should, instead of being a brown noser to the United States MIC, we should stand up and start helping people there. So this is one of the reasons why I talk in English today. I would like to speak out, and there's a very small, tiny movement here, but there's a very tiny group of people who are trying to change things here, and changing here would change the world. So I need all the support from the rest of the world, and we should put up a fight against this whole scam monetary system. This is a cancer to the world, cancer to the earth, and that's basically, unfortunately, spread out to the world now. And we should put up a fight in every nation, every people. All the people in every nation should start the fight against the system. We should take back this money system to our hands, not central banks, not a very handful of people who create money out of debt. And we should really alter the monetary system, and we should issue sovereign money instead of debt money. And hopefully that a lot of people would notice this how this whole monetary system is corrupted, and it's a huge scam. And if many enough people realize that, we could change things. We could change the system. We could change the world. So yeah, that's about it. And next week I'm going to talk in Japanese, back into the normal version. But if you like my my video in English, please comment. Put a comment on that on the video. I may think about creating more of this kind of video in English. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hope to see you again. Thank you.